Hey, hey, wah, hey, hey, wah, hey, hey, wah. Welcome to Ask Adam Steve Show. Hello, I am Adam,
And I'm Steve.
and we're here to talk to you guys about movie news and big movies coming out here in the middle of December of 2022. Let's talk about some movie news first. So, did you see the post that I sent you today about Black Adam and The Rock and James Gunn?
I did.
How do you feel about that?
Um, I'm not really disappointed in it. I actually thought it was kind of funny that it almost felt like The Rock was definitely kind of mad and kind of sad that he wasn't going to be Black Adam, at least for now, is what he kept saying.
Mhm.
But I'm not mad at it because Black Adam, unfortunately, was not a very good movie this year. And I think a lot of people realize that. And that's why James Gunn's probably just shaking up a lot of stuff and a lot of people are freaking out about it. But I think James Gunn is doing a lot of the right stuff, so I'm not mad at it whatsoever.
I I don't know. I'm interested in where Black Adam would go. Like I agree it's not like a great achievement and it's not something we should continue investing in, but like I it was the start of a big thing that they were trying to do, and as bad as I saw Venom 2, you know what I mean? And Venom 2 is better than Venom. So who's to say that Black Adam can't find its footing in a sequel, especially with Superman, right?
Yeah, and especially with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, like, yeah, this movie wasn't great, but it wasn't necessarily his fault that it wasn't that great. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
story just wasn't there, mostly for me. But
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't bad, and I think it'd be funny to see him, especially go against someone like a Zachary Levi, being a Shazam character. I think the two dynamics against each other would be really fun, but if they're not going to move forward with it for now, I can see why. But granted, I would watch a second movie for sure.
I do blame The Rock for the poor quality of this movie because he could have had any director, right? And he picked one of his like lapdog directors who did Jungle Cruise. Like, I don't know. I think he was such a this narrative about him right now is especially with the Shazam sequel. He's like, I refuse to show up in a Shazam end credit sequence. I'm the front runner. I am the big guy. I want my own movie. If he would have just stepped aside from his ego, I feel like Black Adam would have had a better chance to flourish in the DCEU.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that a little bit. If there was a better director in that chair, I think you would have seen a better movie for sure.
And I think that all the stuff with James Gunn and people are like, "Oh, you're like kicking everything that we like out, and you're keeping your wife," and like that's funny. But obviously, the Suicide Squad is in the DCEU is much better than everything else that there is. Can you name a DCEU movie better than the Suicide Squad?
Not in the slightest. I mean, I literally named it as I think it was my favorite movie of 2020. So
Like the Batman's not in the DCU, Joker's not in the DCU, and those are the successful ones critically as of late. And I don't know, it's all really sad and pathetic. And but did you see Zachary Levi tweet? Yeah, he's like, "Don't get worried, guys. Shazam 2 is gonna be great."
I didn't see that, but that makes me laugh because honestly, I'm a big fan of Shazam and Zachary Levi. So I'm still very excited for that movie, regardless if it literally doesn't matter anymore, I guess. I don't know, but I'm still excited.
Oh, I'm excited. I'll be there. Like I was making my most anticipated list of 2023, and I kept the Flash at the 10 spot because I was like, what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? What could this be? How good is this movie that we had to overcome so much adversity to get there,
So
you know?
much. Yeah,
Ah, but yeah, that's all I have to say about the DCEU. And we're basically like a DCEU update show at this point. Every
for
week
real.
or every month, there's more stuff.
Like
Yep.
studio, like Warner Brothers in general has just had a crazy ass year. So they're due for something hopefully better in 2023, I hope, especially with the stupid ass Discovery stuff with HBO and everything. Like Warner Brothers
Mm-hmm.
in general, this seems like kind of a clusterfuck. So hopefully they can get their stuff kind of figured out.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other pieces of news you'd like to talk about before we get to the Globes?
Well, I actually didn't get to watch it yet, so I'm curious if you did. The new Barbie trailer dropped. I've been seeing a bunch of stuff all over the place, so I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it because I have a feeling you watched it.
I definitely watched the Barbie trailer. It's funny because it's great. I love it. I mean, it's funny because the target audience is not really gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
little girls are not gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a 2001: A Space Odyssey reference.
Yeah.
So I wonder how they are taking this in. And also, these are like girls that are going to see Avatar: The Way of Water. Because not to jump ahead, but I feel like that movie is trying to appeal to teenage girls, and I think it succeeded. And I I lost my train of thought.
Well, just in general, like I knew all the stuff about the 2001 references in the trailer, so
Oh
all
yeah,
this kind of
Barbie's trying to appeal to teenage girls, and so I think it's a good trailer. I think it's great. I'm very excited for it. It's one of my top five most anticipated movies of the year, but um, it's not the one I wanted them to do. You know.
yeah. I heard it's not really anything story-wise. It's kind of just trying to kind of pay homage or a little bit or reference to 2001. So
Mhm.
I'm curious to see more when they actually release a trailer kind of for a story in a way, kind of tell you what you're actually going to see. So I'm still excited regardless because I still have it in my most anticipated as well. Greta
Mhm.
Gerwig is a fantastic director, so I'm sure
Mhm.
that whatever she puts out there is going to be very fun.
Mhm. Yes, I'm there day one. I will be there before I go to Oppenheimer.
Me too.
It'll be really funny if the Oppenheimer screening is before Barbie, though, because I think that should be the proper way that I experience these. You know.
Well, and the funny part about it is they're both summer blockbusters, but one of them kind of fits more as a summer blockbuster than the other one because like Oppenheimer is about a fucking like nuclear bomb and it's kind of
Mhm.
like gonna be kind of dark and depressing, I'm guessing, and then we're gonna get Barbie that's all bright and colorful and happy and it's kind of funny that they're both coming out the same weekend and it's gonna be interesting to see which one really takes the top spot because I think Barbie has a fighting chance, honestly, because Christopher Nolan in the box office doesn't really get out that well.
I think film Twitter is seeing Barbie over Oppenheimer.
I think so too. It's going to be interesting.
Mhm. Yes, I can't wait. I love it. I love it. I love 2001: Space Odyssey. I love that specific reference. Simu needs to stop. Simu, the Shang-Chi, he's going crazy on social media. Did you see what he said?
Recently, what do you say recently?
Yeah, he just posted the Barbie trailer and he was like, "Oh, it's only Hollywood is only like superhero movies these days." And it's like, dude, you're literally advertising a toy commercial.
Yeah, that's
Like,
silly.
he's really unlikable at the moment, but I don't know. I'll see another Shang-Chi movie.
Yeah, I love Shang-Chi, so he gets a pass for now, but it's kind of silly just to kind of fight with film Twitter because you're really not going to win.
Hmm. That's very true. But yes, anything else before we touch on the globes?
Not that I can think of right now. Let's talk about those big globes.
Okay, so um I'm very excited because there's a lot of movies that did very well at this that we did not expect to do very well. Personal favorite of mine of the year, Elvis, is nominated for not only like best motion picture drama, but Boz got a nomination. Austin Butler got a nomination. I'm pretty sure that Tom Hanks got a nomination as well. And it's just really good to see Elvis out here thriving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Elvis is thriving for my YouTube channel as well because, like,
Mm-hmm.
I rated the movie a 3.5. I was not raving
Mm-hmm.
about it, but my video has like 1.8 thousand views now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, by far my most successful video. And it's pretty funny because I wasn't expecting it to be as big of a movie as it is, but I
Mm-hmm.
think people like yourself really loved this movie. So I'm actually not that shocked by it. People are digging
Mm-hmm.
it. I think a lot of it is just because the name Elvis kind of brings people out, even people that have never really listened to it know the name. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually, I think if I watch it again, I think it'd be more up on it. And I think Austin Butler is going to sneak into some big roles now. People keeps talking about him being the new Superman. What are your thoughts on that one first?
As Superman,
That's what I keep seeing, like all over Twitter. Like people keep saying, like Austin Butler as the new Superman now that Henry Cavill's out.
I mean, he's too good looking, but like I would need to see his Clark Kent. Clark Kent is way more important to me than Superman. Anyone Superman's just like, you don't have to do much for Superman, but Clark Kent is where Christopher Reeve, I think, really shines. So I would be open to the concept. I don't know anyone else better.
It's true.
hmm But yeah, so that did very well. I'm excited to see. I think the only one it has a real shot at is Austin Butler for Best Actor because it's up against Brendan Fraser. Fraser, by the way, did you see that interview with Adam Sandler?
That video
Um,
is so good. I love that.
oh yes, I'm really digging the Brendan Fraser renaissance that we've had. I really love The Whale, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. Hugh Jackman in The Sun, that's not going to win anything. That was a disaster of a movie.
Oh no,
I don't know. Did you see Living this year?
I've not.
Bill Nye is nominated for that, and then Jeremy Pope for The Inspection. That was the A24 one about the army, the military, some the military guy.
I haven't
Um,
seen that one either.
but yeah, I think Austin Butler has a real shot at that. Okay, another movie that had a lot of nominations, surprisingly, was The Banshees of Inisherin. You saw this, correct?
I actually just watched it a few days ago and I really, really liked it.
I was a big fan. I saw it in the theater, and I thought it was hilarious. I didn't know it was going to be a comedy, so I had no idea what I was walking into. I couldn't even say the title. I just said it was the Martin McDonagh movie, and yeah, I think Colin Farrell's gotten a lot of fanfare. I think what's it called? Supporting actor was
Oh yeah, not Donnell Gleason, but it's
yeah, Gleason, Brendan Gleason.
Brendan Gleason.
Yeah, so that's exciting. A Best Picture nomination. I think it got a Best Director nomination as well.
Yeah, it did.
Just very exciting for that movie. I did not expect it to do that well. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it is one of the best. Like there's a lot of dark comedies that came out this year that are very good, but that one might stand up as the top because it was so silly yet so funny and so
And
dark at the same
Ernest,
time. And yes, it had
relatable.
everything. It was so relatable, but at the same time so insane. It had moments where we're just like, what the hell is going on? But it was so grounded too. So much
Mm-hmm.
fun in that movie. Like, if you're a fan of Martin McDonagh movies, I think you're gonna enjoy it. Like Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I want to
Mm-hmm.
say In Bruges is another one that he made with both Colin Farrell and Donald Gleason. Very
Mm-hmm.
funny movie. Just everything he's done is really good. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for him. I think this movie is great. I'd love to see it get some Oscar nominations too because it's a really fun movie.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to win anything, but I think it's a victory getting a lot of nominations.
Hmm.
A movie that we expected to get a lot of nominations and is delivering is Steven Spielberg's The Fablemans. Has a Best Picture, a Best Director nomination. How are we feeling about their odds?
So I haven't seen it yet, so I can't speak to the quality of it, but from what I've
Mm-hmm.
been hearing and from what I know about it, it's not shocking that it's getting other nominations. And if Spielberg walks out with some trophies, great for him. You always love to see it. I think a lot of people in this movie, and I've seen a lot of talk about Paul Dano a lot too, which I
Mm-hmm.
didn't see him on the nominations list in there, I don't think.
Well, Michelle Williams has a Best Lead in a drama, which
Hmm.
I feel like if she was supporting, she would have a much better case because she's literally not the main character of the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to win anything. I think it's one of those you're obligated to nominate it because like you nominated Belfast for a million things. But no, I'm not huge on The Fablemans. I think it's a great movie. I definitely go see it, but I don't think it's walking away with anything. Oh boy. Can you still see me at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
Mike.
And especially as a film kid, like I've heard that it's very inspiring and it kind of talks about like Spielberg's love for film, and that's cool. I really would
Mhm.
like to see that kind of stuff, especially on the big screen. That I don't think I'll have the time to be able to see it because a lot of more stuff coming out. But I'll probably watch it
Mhm.
at home and it'll still have some impact on me, and I'm still really excited to see it.
The one of the other nominees this year, Tar, also has a lead actress for Kate Blanchett nomination that I think it's going to run away with. But
Oh,
we also have Olivia Colman, Viola Davis, Ana de Armas, and Michelle Williams. So um,
so
Michelle Yeoh, she doesn't have to go up against her at least. That's nice.
yes, that is nice because they're probably gonna have to duke it out at the Oscars.
Hmm
But yeah, I think she's well deserved, and yeah, she's gonna run away with it. The only
hmm
other one that I know of that I've seen in that category so far is Ana de Armas in Blonde, which We already know my thoughts on that. And I think, yeah, Tar is great. If you haven't seen Tar yet, both of us really dug it. So go check it
Mhm.
out yourself because lots of crazy stuff happens in that movie. And especially Kate Blanchett absolutely slays that role.
Big time. Another one, a fan favorite of ours, Everything Ever All at Once, getting nominated for quite a bit. I think that's going to clean up, especially
Yes.
at something like the Golden Globes where they have like, "Oh, here's a more comedic one and here's the serious one."
Yeah.
Um, Top Gun Maverick has a Best Picture in the drama. Do you think that has any chance?
Um, I don't, honestly. I think the best shot it has actually is the song, just because the song is so good.
Hmm. Oh, Lady Gaga is fantastic.
Yes.
Um, but I don't think it has too much of a shot. I think the fact that at the last second, a buzzer beater, Avatar: The Way of Water, it comes out, and we didn't even see it yet before we saw these nominations, and it's nominated for Best Motion Picture Drama. And I think that that being another premier elite, like upper blockbuster, I think that they're going to split the votes between the two of them. But that's a good transition into Avatar: The Way of Water. How do you feel about the movie?
So, if you know me and my history with Avatar, I went into this movie expecting to not really enjoy it, especially with that 3 hour runtime announced before going in. I wasn't geeked, but I got my ticket. It was literally one of the last tickets that wasn't a front row ticket for IMAX 3D on
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, and I had a blast watching that movie. I
Mm-hmm.
was so shocked by it. Not only like even in Top Gun Maverick, I had to piss 3 times, and that was a way shorter movie. This one, I only went once, and that was just because I really just had to take a break for a second because I didn't want to, but I had to
Mm-hmm.
piss so bad because this movie is
Mm-hmm.
so good. From the first movie, having great visual effects, but very much lacking a story, this one has a lot more story and a lot more going on to attach to it, whether it's all of the different characters introduced, more of the characters that we already had, but more in depth of what's going on with them. Like, I still refuse to say that Jake Sully's that great of a character, but the people around him are very good
Mm-hmm. He's
and
much better in this one than he was in the first one.
very much. And the
Mm-hmm.
effects and all the water stuff looks phenomenal in 3D. Like if you can see it on the biggest screen possible, unfortunately I didn't get to see it on the frame rate change, but I did get to see the IMAX 3D and that was really amazing too. So I had a blast watching it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll touch on the last thing you just said there. So the higher frame rate, I saw the higher frame rate, and it does at times feel like a video game, like almost like Call of Duty. Like I'm looking through that perspective. But I thought it looked fantastic. I think this is the best visually stunning movie of the past, like since Avatar. Like honestly, like there is not. This is in a class of its own. James Cameron wrote the book. He knows what he's doing. He like at the bare minimum, you could watch this movie with the sound off, and it would still be you get something out of it.
100%. And that being said too, the music in the movie, very good. Just
Mm-hmm.
so much in here. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
altogether one of the best blockbusters of the year by far. And that's not
And,
something I was expecting to say.
and you know what I trust James Cameron to do more than anyone else in the world. I defy you to name someone that's more reliable when it comes to directing a sequel to a sci-fi horror franchise movie. You know what I mean? We have Aliens, we have Terminator 2. He knows how to do this.
He literally started his
Um
career with Piranha 2.
I haven't seen that. I actually do want to catch that
I
now.
haven't
And
seen
the
it either.
I haven't seen The Abyss and True Lies either, but I'm so inspired after
I actually
watching this
I
movie.
actually have The Abyss on VHS, but I haven't watched it yet.
VHS. Wow.
I bought
Wow.
a I bought a box of VHS tapes recently because I got a new VCR and it was a box and it came with E.T., The Abyss,
Mm.
Aliens, like a bunch of James Cameron stuff actually.
There you go. Well, he's great. He is officially like he's always been an event director, and it's just so nice to have him back. You know what I mean? Like he went to sleep and now He has returned, like Christ has risen. You know what I
Yeah, he
mean?
was he was doing like documentaries and stuff. That's basically what he was doing with his time. So
Hmm.
maybe he was just waiting for the technology to catch up with all his ideas. I don't know, but
Well, he was
it,
trying to make this, yeah, and I think this was worth the wait.
yeah, very much so. Like
Hmm.
as much as we all memed the hell out of him because Avatar 1 came out 2009, it's now 2022 and the second one finally came out, but
Hmm.
luckily he stockpiled those other ones and hopefully the visual effects are fast enough for him because as much as I wasn't expecting to say this, I want Avatar 3 like as soon as possible. I would
Hmm.
love to see where this story goes. We have a lot more going on and I'm here for it.
Hmm. I can't wait going forward, especially where we leave off at the end of this movie. But I have a good question for you. Would you consider Avatar the Way of Water? Would you consider that the Empire Strikes Back of the Avatar franchise?
I mean, so far, yes. It
Hmm.
is like obviously my thoughts. This movie is miles better than the original movie.
Hmm.
Like just from a story standpoint in general. Like the first one, as much as I like looking at it, at this point, will I ever go back and watch it now that I have Avatar Way of the Water?
Hmm.
No, I probably won't. I'll probably just go straight to that one because I don't really, there's not even a whole lot of story to build off of from the first one.
No, this movie makes the first one better. And honestly, I wouldn't blame anyone who said either one is better than the other because the first one was the first one that we got introduced to Pandora, and like the whole foundation was built on that first movie, and it was so new and different. This is just a sequel, but it's a great sequel and it does elevate upon the first movie, specifically with the villain. I didn't really look into it very much, but when I found out who and how the villain is, I fell in love with that. It reminded me a lot of Terminator 2. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. I
You know what I mean? Because there we have the villain from the first one. He's back, but he's a good guy this time, and we kind of have the opposite of that in a way. And I think that's gracefully handled, and it's not spoon fed to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of my problems with the first one kind of is that it
Mm-hmm.
didn't really let you think as much as this one kind of does. It lets you kind of develop more. I don't know how to describe it that well, but like you were saying, the first movie especially, I will give it Pandora looks phenomenal in that first movie, which we get a whole new setting with this new movie. And that's kind of what I like too, is that we still get a little bit peek at Pandora, but we get this whole new world that James created. And it's just a whole new place and with whole new people that we get to experience. And I feel like I know these people almost more than I know more of the Navi on Pandora, which is crazy to say.
Mm-hmm. So I thought of this, right? So we're talking about the Empire Strikes Back of the Avatar franchise, right? I think this franchise, since it's nominated for Golden Globes, who's to say it won't be nominated for Best Picture and Best Director there? You know what I mean? You can make a great case for at least James Cameron being Best Director. Like it took him 8 years to make this movie. Like not to go all Richard Linklater Boyhood on you, but I'm really excited. I think it'll be a Lord of the Rings situation where it's nominated every single movie, and we don't win until the end game, the Return of the King of the franchise. You know what I mean?
I do. I
Like
do,
it'll have
and
paid its dues. You know?
it's funny because like the last podcast, I think I actually cut it out on TikTok that I would kind of be
Hmm.
disappointed if this movie was kind of nominated for Best Picture. But
Hmm.
now, after seeing it, I wouldn't be that pissed off with the nomination.
Hmm.
And like, there are a lot of movies that I like more than this movie, but if it
Hmm.
snuck in there and took that Best Picture trophy, I wouldn't be pissed. Just because there's nothing really wrong with this movie. Even the
This or Top Gun.
I still have more fun watching Top Gun, I think. I need to rewatch Top Gun. I need to rewatch both of them just to be sure. But I think I
See,
have just slightly more enjoyment out of Top Gun still.
See, I never need to rewatch Top Gun Maverick in my life. I'm going to rewatch Avatar: The Way of Water in theaters again, in like IMAX, 3D, like higher frame rate. Like I'm going all out again. Like sign me up. This movie rocks. This movie's going in my top 10 movies of the year. Like James Cameron might be who I vote for best director. I'm due to vote for that in like 3 days. So
Yeah,
I'm all in,
at this point, it's not cracking my top 10. It's cracking my top 20 for sure. It's right outside of there, I think. It's kind of fighting around like the 12 area, I think.
Hmm.
And Top Gun's still very much towards the top, but yeah, I don't think it's not my favorite of the year at all, but it's a great movie. And I probably would go see it again in theaters if I had like someone that wanted to go really bad.
Hmm. So, who's your all-star character? Who's the best one to you?
In
Who
that
steals the
movie,
show? Who steals the show of the Avatar Way of Water?
mm, honestly, a lot of the scenes whenever he's in them, Stephen Lang kills that shit.
He's so good. That's my pick too.
Yeah.
Jeez. How do you feel about people saying like complaining, being like, "Oh, Natiri doesn't do as much, and she's just kind of like pregnant, and that's it."
No, I mean, she didn't do a whole lot in the first movie either, but I
No,
think she
she's
was in
awesome in the
a
first movie. She's the best part of the first movie, if you ask me.
well, yeah, she steals the scenes in the first movie by far. She just doesn't
Mhm.
really seem to have a lot of screen time in a way. I don't know. But in this
Mhm.
movie, I don't think like there's a lot of other people to talk about though. Like they're introducing so many other characters, but she definitely has a fair amount of time, I think, especially talking about her struggles over her children and trying to keep them protected and also going to this new place away from her home.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot to do with her character, so I
Mhm.
don't agree with that argument whatsoever, really.
I loved her in this. I love how she goes crazy at the end. Yeah, we're not. Are we not spoiling this? Are we spoiling this?
We'll try not to at this
I
point in
think we've been
time.
dancing around it pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mhm. Without saying too much. Speaking of dancing around spoilers, Sigourney Weaver plays a character in this movie, and it is known that she is playing a teenage version of herself, but as a Navi.
Yeah, so it's like her the daughter of her like clone.
Hmm.
It's crazy, but it's cool. And I could
And I
tell,
think it works.
yeah, they kind of like I think they did a little bit of editing to her voice, but it works really, really well. And I liked it a lot.
Hmm. It's funny, the scenes that we do see with some of the people from the first movie, I swear were shot back in like 2014 when they started production of this movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. A lot of the
Hmm.
people look very similar too, which I was shocked by. Like especially with all the years going by from 2009 till now.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. I love everything that they do with Sigourney Weaver's character. Her opposite, I feel, this spider character. I, I love him as well. Everything they do with him is great. They really do a good job of introducing us to this new generation in a way that feels like a natural progression and a welcome progression. Because we didn't really care much about Jake Sully and before in the first movie. So now by having a collection of characters and they all have their own little adventures that they go on during the movie. Like we really get a lot of time, personal time with these people. Like there's a
Hmm.
lot of just downtime in the middle because they like quickly like catch you up to speed at the beginning of the movie. They throw a lot at you and
Yeah.
then we're chilling when we go to the sea people. And then the last hour is just this big, huge, bombastic action scene, and it's stellar.
Yeah, I easily thought it was gonna end like two or three times during that last scene for sure, like that
Mm-hmm.
last battle action. And then it kept
Mm-hmm.
going, but I wasn't really mad that it kept going. I was like, fuck it, let's
Mm-hmm.
just keep fighting, do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Eh,
this is like the Fast and Furious of the Avatar movies. It's all about family.
yep.
And but there's so much there's every character gets their own time, like you were saying, and you kind of get attached to every single one. So when that last battle happens, it's like, oh shit, I don't want any of these people to get hurt. Please be
Mm-hmm.
okay. And it works so well in that manner.
Mm-hmm. And I love the whale. The whale is my other MVP.
Yeah.
I even said it from the beginning. I was like, "This is, this is who I'm excited about. I want a plushie of this character," and he tore shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. I did not expect this movie to take me over to the dark side and have me loving Avatar now, but I think I kind of do.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised that you liked it. I'm happy that this converted you into an Avatar fan going forward now. Um, I'm I'm really excited going forward. I love this movie. I'm going to see it again. 5 out of 5. It's like I said, it's going to make my top 10. I think it's currently at like the 7 range, like right around in that the Batman range. Because what do you like more, the Batman or this?
I think the Batman's still above it.
Mm-hmm. But is it like close?
It's fighting. Like I said, I think Batman's still in my top 10, but it's sitting just outside, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it finalized at all yet. I think I'm gonna try to
Mm-hmm.
finalize it here in the next few days. Although I'm still missing like a ton, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. But
If they had like a best blockbuster award, the nominees would be like Avatar, Top Gun, Nope, The Batman, and I'm probably missing a good one, right? What's a good blockbuster we missed?
let me count everything everywhere as a blockbuster.
No, A24. That is not Elvis,
They're
technically.
almost
That's
becoming
a
a
big
blockbuster
studio
company.
summer blockbuster musical movie.
Oh,
Clearly that's successful. And Babylon might be successful as well. Oh, how are we feeling about Avatar: The Way of Water's box office so far?
yeah, that's gonna be interesting because James Cameron said it had to be really, really big, and it's not as big as they need it to be so far. But I
Mm-hmm.
honestly think over the holidays, and James Cameron's box office is always one to just keep crawling up and getting bigger and bigger as it
Mm-hmm.
goes. So I think he still has a fighting chance, but I'm surprised it wasn't as big as it should have been.
I think it'll have longevity. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this is I think it's must watch stuff, but the problem is it's hard to go on opening weekend because there's not too many showings because it is 3.5 hours. And the fact that it is 3.5 hours and everyone knows like it's famously a really long movie, like it's not one you could just go catch on a whim. You know, you have to plan that stuff out. So people like going to see it and then it's such a massive movie, so much is going on that so many people are going to go see this again, and it is great, so people are going to want to see it more times. So I think it will have legs. It'll still be doing business in January and February.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what Top Gun Maverick did all year. So
Mm-hmm.
if it does anything like that, it should have a very good box office. And I hope that people do that and don't do the thing that unfortunately a lot of people have been doing lately, where it's, oh, it's 3 hours long. I'll wait for it to come on Disney Plus because that's exactly where it'll
This
be
is
in
a
three
theater
months.
movie. This is a
And
must watch in a theater.
I agree, but there are people out there that unfortunately just don't want to go to the movie theater anymore, especially for something that's 3 hours long, because whether it's seating, people being shitty, like people just don't want to go to the theater anymore if they can just wait a little
Mm-hmm.
while and see it at home, no matter how big the movie is. Unfortunately, we've been seeing that with so many movies over the past couple of years, and the pandemic didn't help at all either.
Mm-hmm. I had a prime viewing experience, Dolby, at the AMC, 3D. It was absolutely beautiful. My theater was well behaved. I was sitting with my buddy, and I remember that there was an action sequence with an arm, and my buddy literally like put his fist up in the air, like yeah.
That's great.
And do you have any final thoughts on this movie?
No, go see it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, go see it, guys. Avatar: The Way of Water. See it in theater. See it in the best format you can see it in. Just see it on the big screen, and go see it with other people. Yeah, I want this movie to succeed really well. There's not really going to be much else out. Babylon's also good, and I heard Puss in Boots is good. Are you going to see that?
I am really excited. The first one
Mm-hmm.
was a surprise hit for me. Like I saw it years after it came out, thinking it was just going to be like a meme thing, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very enjoyable. Like one of the better Shrek movies by far.
Yeah, I like. Isn't Zach Galifianakis like an egg?
Yeah,
Humpty Dumpty.
he's the Humpty Dumpty guy, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Like that's a memorable character. I don't know. I thought it had a fun sense of humor. I like that the animation is getting more experimental in this one, and so I'm excited for it. I'm probably gonna see it tomorrow at noon 30.
That's awesome. I think Antonio Banderas, like he has a lot of fun as that character, and it kind of you kind of feel it when you watch it. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the fun of it, but it's silly fun. I'm actually pretty excited to watch it.
Mm-hmm. What is going to be your next theater movie? Is it going to be Babylon or something? I want to
Um,
dance with somebody, which I saw today.
I'm not sure yet. I might go try to go tomorrow if I have time, but if not, it'll probably be Babylon.
Just to get out of the way how I feel about I want to dance with somebody because I promise I have 30 seconds on it. Um, it's fine. Like, I don't know. It's a very by the numbers musical biopic. There's nothing good about the filmmaking aspect. The two lead performances, Stanley Tucci, Naomi Eki, I think is how I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's fantastic in it. She's gorgeous. The music's fantastic, but it's 2 hours and 26 minutes. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, but I wore my Giants jersey and I had a good time, and because she sings at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you have any interest in it? Did I sell you on it?
No. I'll probably watch it, but you definitely didn't sell me on anything. I'll
All
watch
right.
it when it comes out on like streaming probably, but not a theater watch.
Awesome. Okay, well, the next movie we're going to talk about is Weird. The Al Yankovic story is a movie that you recommended to me, and I finally got the chance to see. And it's funny because my girlfriend didn't even know who Weird Al was. So before I showed her The Saga Begins, because that's my personal favorite, and then to my knowledge, White and Nerdy is the most iconic.
Did you not just show her a picture of myself and just be like, "That's Weird Al"?
No, I love it. I love the Weird Al look. I'm trying to do a long hair thing as well myself. I just end up looking like my mother, you know.
Same actually, but
Uh,
yes, Weird Al is an icon of my childhood for sure. With White and Nerdy, I mean, even Amish Paradise, like everything he does, just makes me laugh so much, and he's just a comedic icon. But
mhm,
that's pretty crazy that she has no idea who he is. But I also
mhm,
get it because, especially with people like even as my age and younger, he hasn't been like huge lately.
mhm.
So I can understand why she probably doesn't know him.
Yeah, it's fine. But I was a big fan growing up, and this movie was just such an ode to who he was. It might be my favorite musical biopic ever, especially after seeing I Want to Dance with Somebody and have it be such a by the numbers like musical biopic, and then see something that clearly was made with real passion. This is a Funny or Die presents movie,
hmm
right?
Yeah, and it was actually written by Weird Al as well with a co-writer.
And Daniel Radcliffe, they got Daniel Radcliffe to be in it, which at first I was like, oh, I don't like in these biopics when the actor doesn't sing. You know, I would rather them sing. But I think it's funny that he doesn't sing because it's making fun of how like Bohemian Rhapsody compared to Rocket Man, where Freddie Mercury, played by
Rami,
Rami Malek, he didn't sing, he lip synced, you know, but Taron Egerton playing Elton John sang, you know
hmm
what I mean? And I'm passionate about that. So I really connected with that. I thought it was hilarious all the way through. The songs were great. I love the plot, how they not like exaggerated, you know what I mean? They played with the parody angle and everything with Michael Jackson. And then the ending of the movie was the icing on the cake. It was a full meal for me. It's a 5 out of 5. I loved it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite comedies of the year for sure. It's so funny, so
Mm-hmm.
self-aware. It's very much in the vein of Weird Al. He wrote it, and it's a parody of his career. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a hilarious idea. I mean, it's very much in the same vein as Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, which is a
Mm-hmm.
hilarious biopic too, that kind of played with this idea first, but this movie kind of takes that idea and just fucking runs with it. And this is based actually off of a Funny or Die sketch a few years ago with Aaron Paul playing Weird Al. But
Mm-hmm.
I think Daniel Radcliffe kind of fits it even better because he kind of almost gets that Weird Al look perfectly with the mustache and the curly hair and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty funny. And all the stuff with Madonna and the whole movie
Mm-hmm.
is so goofy.
Well, I love Daniel Radcliffe in Swiss Army Man. That's one of my favorite performances ever, and I think he's really great in here as well. No, I'm just a huge fan. I currently have it as my 10th favorite movie of the year, and I think I'm gonna leave it there because movies that like really connected with me, like these comedic movies that maybe aren't as like deep or like highbrow as a lot of these like more awards, you know, movies. Like I have the Nick Cage movie in my top 10. I love the Nick Cage movie. That's hilarious. And that's one I'm going to rewatch all the time. And same thing with this Daniel Radcliffe weird movie because I have to go buy it now because what the heck is Roku? How did you watch this?
I watched on Roku. Yeah, it made me so
Mm-hmm.
upset that it was on there because this is the kind of movie that I feel like you can probably speak to. It would have been so much fun to see this in a theater with a crowd,
Mm-hmm.
people just laughing and hearing the songs on the speakers. It would have been a
Mm-hmm.
great theater experience. And I'm kind of sad that we were robbed of that on a Roku app, but I
Mm-hmm.
want to get the Blu-ray as soon as it's available for sure because this movie is a ton of fun. And if you can find it on the stupid Roku app, watch it because you're gonna love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely recommend Weird. That's all I have to say on it. Did you have any movies you wanted to bring up?
So let's get a little sad on you because one of the movies this year that honestly I was anticipating for sure once I saw it announced, just because I knew the story from history class in high school, and that is the Till movie. The story of Emmett Till, unfortunately, is a very sad story that happened not that long ago, if you really think about it, but it's the story of Emmett Till, who unfortunately was killed in the South by a group of white men who didn't even witness him doing anything, but thought that he criminalized this woman. All he did was whistle at her and kind of talk to her. He didn't deserve anything that happened to him at all. Like, that's some
Hmm.
crazy shit. And this story kind of goes into that, as well as showing how the repercussions of his death affected so many people, not only his mother, but just the black community and so many countless others, and how he still has an impact to this day. And this movie does not hold back and does not pull any punches. It goes to the extent that I did not expect it to, but I respect the hell out of it.
Oh yeah, there's some pretty mortifying imagery in this movie. No, without spoiling it. I mean, it's history, but the body.
Yes.
Like that was that it's a very heavy experience. I cried 6 times, and I think it's basically every single time that the mother talks to a different person. Like they encounter her after it's
Yeah.
happened. Whether it's like her is it her brother? It's a family member. Because he goes and stays with his cousins. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whether he sees one of them, or she sees her parents, or she sees um Flurry, everybody that she sees. I'm like in tears.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about this movie actually is, like you said, like it's not ancient history. This movie is like bright and beautiful and colorful, and everyone's dressed up all nice, and the town looks all nice. And I think it's such a effective way of being like, hey, this is like don't worry darling. They're trying to paint this like, oh, the 50s, everything was great and beautiful and wonderful, but this awfully atrocious act, heinous act of hatred happened during this era. So that was my favorite
Yeah,
thing about the movie.
it's the Make America Great Again. That's what people want to go back to, is that bullshit. So I
Yeah,
mean,
oof, yeah,
yeah, it's
hmm
unfortunate, but this is a movie like I've seen a lot of really shitty horror, I mean not horror movies, shitty historical movies in high
hmm
school, whether it be a Pearl Harbor or whatever. This is the kind of movie that I feel like high school students, when you're going through American history, should watch because it's so impactful. It doesn't pull back. It shows you the truth. And I think it's a movie that honestly I feel like could, if it affects one person and makes them think a little bit differently, then
hmm
it's doing its job. And it's great at that. And I respect the hell out of it for that. I rated it a 5 out of 5. I think it's a beautifully made movie, like you were saying, shot
hmm
so damn good, so impactful, especially like we were saying with all the different things after he died and showing his body and how brutalized he was. It is very impactful. So if you're ready for that kind of thing, which I think most people should be, it's a movie that should be seen by everyone.
hmm Yeah, I am going to vote for Daniel Deadweiler, best lead actress. Not over Tar, but she's my currently my two on the year, and she's fantastic in this movie. Like this movie is such a roller coaster of emotions. It's one of the saddest movies of the year, and it'll make you mad. Like the ending of this movie, like makes you like angry,
Yep.
and I definitely recommend this movie. And I would like to see it get more nominations for things. Like hopefully at the Oscars, it picks up the pace.
Yeah.
Because Woman King is getting nominated, and that's a good movie, but like it's definitely not as effective as Till. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, and especially like you were saying with her performance, I really hope that she gets some type of recognition from some type of nomination because from the scenes, especially like you were saying, after Emmett dies,
hmm
it's some of the most emotional performances I've seen. Like Toni Collette, like she's just under that level of like emotional and just like distraught over things. And her delivery of her lines being so like just impactful in her words about Emmett and the situation that's being put on
hmm
her, just so crazy. And yeah, one of the best performances of the year.
Yep, I've loved it. I'm a big fan, big fan. I don't think it'll make my top 10 because it's just not the type of movie I want to rewatch. I'm probably never going to rewatch it again in my life. Like, I'll get a really nice Blu-ray, never watch it.
Yeah, because top 10, realistically, if I was making like the best movies of the year, like without my biases, it might sneak in there as a top 10. But me wanting to rewatch the movies is my top 10 of like my favorite movies of the year. And unfortunately, that will not make it in there because while I think
Mhm.
everyone should watch it, I don't want to have to watch it again because it was just so sad.
Continuing the sad train, I'm going to bring up a pair of feminist, not in a bad way. That I feel like sometimes that could have a very feminist. No, feminist. Yeah, we're like She Said and Women Talking both came out. They both are about sexual assault and sexual abuse in the world. And She Said was not as effective as Women Talking. I'll talk about Women Talking first because that movie's phenomenal. It's going to get a Best Picture nomination. I don't think it has a real shot of winning, but yeah, I think it will with the ensemble of actresses that we have. It's fantastic. The director's got a lot of clout. It's based off of a novel, so it might get an adapted screenplay nomination. It's a very interesting concept, and I love the way they go about it. It almost feels like a play. Um, but I definitely recommend it. It's a very sad movie. It's a very heavy movie. The performances are fantastic. Everyone's talking about Rooney Mara, but Frances McDormand's in this movie. I thought Claire Foy was my personal favorite. And then or Jesse Buckley. Dude, Jesse Buckley. Remember Men? Did you see Men?
Hmm.
Actually, this is a great companion piece with Men. Like if you watch Men and then watch this, because this movie's about like the horrors of like sexual assault and when nothing is done about it and how that affects the community and women as a whole. And you can literally just showcase those horrors in Men first to
Yeah.
establish your point. Did I sell you on Women Talking though? It's a very sad
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, actually, like I have no idea about this movie. Like I know more about She Said only because pretty sure Carey Mulligan's in that movie. That's pretty much
Had
the
a
only thing
wide
I know about that
release.
movie. Yeah, and I've heard people talk about it, but this one
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard of.
Mm-hmm. No, and She Said is a lot more on the nose and obvious, and it was not critically well received. I thought it was fine. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Women Talking is a 5 out of 5, but She Said is a 3 out of 5 for me. I got what they were going for, and it's well intended, but I just think that there's better versions of this. And like literally, Trump is in the movie.
Mm,
Like someone they call Trump and on the phone you hear someone voicing Trump and the guy who's voicing Trump is on SNL and it's like am I supposed to be taking this seriously? You know what I mean?
no. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
unfortunate.
I wish I could tell you the ending of She Said. It's one of the funniest things because when I realized what they were going for in the last like minute of the movie, I was like, I'm sold, you know. But no, that's a very unserious movie. A very serious movie is Woman Talking. Definitely check that one out. It's very powerful, an emotional movie.
Well, jumping off of that one, we'll talk about one that we've both watched, All
Mm-hmm.
Quiet on the Western Front.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a adaptation of a novel from way back in the day and a
Mm-hmm.
movie that was actually, I think it won Best Picture in the 40s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
100%.
I watched that one. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I rated it like a 4 out of 5 stars, somewhere around there. But this one is a 5 out of 5. One of the best war movies that I've ever seen. I loved it. I loved that it was completely in German. I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was a great touch. But
Mm-hmm.
the war scenes, the cinematography, the way it was shot, so impactful and so like the war scenes especially are so good. Like I felt like I was in the war. Like it was almost as impactful as like Saving Private Ryan in the beginning for me. The way it was
Mm-hmm.
shot and the way they kind of have you like literally in the middle of all the battles,
Mm-hmm.
it was really good. And it kind of shows you how they were almost lied to in the beginning, like showed like, ah, you're gonna be the war hero and everything. It's gonna be great. And then they just get into all of this terrible, terrible shit. It's
Mm-hmm.
sad, but it's so good.
the whole thing just makes me think about like that poor little because he was so happy and he was just happy to be with his friends and doing a thing and like
Hmm.
feeling like he's doing the right thing, and he was so uninformed about what he was doing. And yeah, it's definitely a very effective movie. It's beautifully shot, it's beautifully directed. The lead performance is absolutely fantastic. I actually, I should probably nominate him. I've been wondering about who's going to get my five spot, and I might give it to him.
That'd be good.
Um, I don't know his name, but it's a very good movie. But I think it's going to get lost in the shuffle this award season. It might get an international nomination because it's German. You said, right?
It is. It is. Yeah, it's completely German, and it's so like I think that German really adds to it, especially because they're showing it
Mm,
from the German side of World War One,
mm,
and it's especially all the trench warfare stuff. And yeah, it's so sad because all these kids, they're literally kids, and they come to the high school, and it reminds me a lot of people that I went to high school with that joined like the armed services out of high school. And if you talk to them about it now, they are very bitter about their experience, and then they
mm.
just hate what they did and hated being in it. So it's kind of very real in that stance as well. So it's a very good movie. If you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. Another one that I wish I could have seen in a theater because it's so damn big and feels like a
Hmm.
very epic movie that unfortunately I only got to see on Netflix, but watch it when you can because it is very, very good.
I gave it a 4 out of 5, I think, on Letterbox, but I kind of want to change it to a 5 out of 5 because I think about it quite frequently, especially if I'm going to give it a best lead actor nomination.
Yeah. I I, I would definitely look at it and
Mm-hmm.
consider that for sure.
Mm-hmm. What was the other movie that we wanted to talk about today? We touched a little bit on Banshees of Inisherin. We
Well,
one thing we didn't get to bring up earlier was Barry Cogan.
yes.
He's fantastic in this movie. I've rewatched the scene with him and what's the lady's name in the movie?
Oh,
She's a very famous actress as well, but
give
she's
me
that
one
scene is
second.
absolutely heartbreaking. I'm very excited. I think he got nominated as well.
Carrie
And
Carrie Condon is the woman's name.
Carrie Condon, yeah, that is a like heart wrenching scene to watch. It's such difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really like beautiful and emotional and movie, and I'm really happy that it's nominated for a lot of things, and it's got a decent theatrical run. Like I think it's still out, and you can still go see it, and I'm happy that it's getting that kind of exposure.
Well, and if you don't want to go to the theater, it is already on HBO Max as well. So
Mm-hmm.
go see it when you can because it is fantastic. And yes, Barry is honestly becoming one of the best actors around right now. Whether it's he was in The Green Knight last year, he was also in the Marvel, what the hell was it called? Like
Eternals,
Eternals.
not to
Yeah,
be
and
confused with the Elementals that comes out next year.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna be so
Mm-hmm.
confused when it comes to all this stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I mean he was in the Batman already this year. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in this
A
movie,
little
like,
bit.
yeah, and I feel like he's going to be in Batman more when the next one comes out. But this dude's honestly creeping up as being one of the like must-see actors right now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, transformative in all of his different roles. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be cool. He kind of almost gives me like Heath Ledger vibes, which is very fun.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I'm very excited for everything he does going forward. I mentioned to you earlier that this role here kind of feels like Leonardo DiCaprio and What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Um, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but like it just gave me a lot of shades of that. It's a very good movie and a great performance. But yeah, I'm excited about that. It's definitely getting hot. This awards race is getting really, really hot. What other movie did we wanted to talk about today?
Amsterdam.
Yes. Speaking of the award season, a movie that will not touch it is Amsterdam because people didn't like this movie. How did you feel about it?
I don't. Okay, I get why people don't like it, I guess, because it wasn't like the best movie of the year. But I also don't understand why people like are hating on it because I don't think it was boring whatsoever. I'm also one of the people that did not like American Hustle, which I guess people are relating it to quite a lot because it has like the three-person cast and everything, and I don't know. People are relating
It's
it,
a
and it's
big
David O. Russell.
David O. Russell movie, so people are comparing it to it.
But I think this cast is better in my opinion. It has an ensemble, a huge ensemble. Some people are much better than others. Chris Rock being one of the ones that didn't really do that well, in my opinion, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But I think it was a fun movie. I think it was shot really well. I think it was interesting. It had really cool story. It kind of slowed down in the middle a little bit, but the cast is really what sells it.
Hmm. My argument for the movie, because it's funny, we're both like defending it because it's like, honestly, I think that Variety had a bottom five movies of the year list, and they had two of them, and Amsterdam was on one of them, and I don't think it deserves that kind of hate because at the bare minimum, I got to hang out with Christian Bale and all of my friends. You know what I mean? Like Christian Bale, it's not his best performance, but he's still doing a good job and he's definitely trying out there. And while it's definitely a weaker entry in David O. Russell's filmography, like it's even worse than Joy, I still didn't. Why had my expectations lowered? So I guess that played into it because I saw it after I heard all of the negative
Well,
press.
and I didn't have that high of expectations because, like I said, American Hustle, I don't really like it at all, actually.
American Hustle is much better than this. I
I
like American
I
Hustle.
I like this more, but I get
Mhm.
it. But I haven't seen Joy, so I can't speak to anything like that. But I don't know. I think it was a fun movie. Taylor Swift was cool to see.
That was such a weird inclusion in the
I
movie.
don't know
I
why
don't
she
know
was really
why we're
there.
doing this. You know what I mean?
She was there just for the star power and to try to get more seats in there because
And it failed.
it failed miserably. I think people are kind of just not in David O. Russell now.
Yeah, it
I
seems
think
like.
his negative press of him not being the nicest guy on sets and everything must have really like
Mhm.
gotten to people's brains. And I think his movie is just not being like, if they were better, I think people would overlook it, but because they're just kind of mid, that people are just like bowing
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, if the quality was there, I'd be more accepting. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll still see his movies because I think he's an interesting director. But yeah, this is definitely one of his weaker entries, and I'll probably never see it again. But I gave it a 3 out of 5 because I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I even gave it a 3.5. I gave it higher than you.
Wow, wow. But yeah, other movies that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else on your horizon, like you're going to see in theaters soon? Because I've basically seen everything except for I need to see Spoiler Alert and
Well,
The Mean One.
I still need to see both of those. I still need to see Fableman really badly.
Yeah, that's fantastic movie. I really loved it. It's the best of the like directors making movies about themselves as a kid movies. Well, someone said that Roma is one of those, and I was like, oh shoot, I totally forgot that that counts.
Puss in Boots
Um,
starts tomorrow, I guess.
I'm gonna see it in the morning. I'm excited about it. Um, what's it
Oh,
called?
so Devotion. I saw you rated that pretty high. I
I
haven't seen it
did
yet.
like Devotion. So I went into it very highly motivated to dislike it since I'm not a big Top Gun fan, or to like a Devotion and be like on Letterboxd, like finally a good movie in 2022 about Navy pilots. I really wanted to go on that victory lap, and I was delivered. Like this movie is actually has balls, like the original Top Gun, and not like Maverick. It's about things. I care about the romantic subplot in the movie. Like the romantic subplot in the movie is basically the emotional crux of the movie here in Devotion, and I thought the plane action was just as cool. And like I get that in Top Gun Maverick, like it's a good idea of marketability wise to be like, oh, we're fighting the enemy. We don't know who the bad guy is. We're not going to call out a specific country. Um, Here in Devotion, we know where it's the Korean War. You know what I mean? So that's something I can actually get behind in the real world because if it's such a realistic thing like US Navy pilots, unless it's like Avatar, it's hard to fictionalize that.
Yeah. I want to see this one for sure because like when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is like a Glenn Powell actually got to have the role that he originally had in Top Gun Maverick as Goose's son because he's like the
Mm-hmm.
co-star of this movie.
Mm-hmm. He's very good in it. He's fantastic. I'm not a big fan of. He's really having a moment. Jonathan Majors. He's going to be in the Ant-Man movie.
I like Jonathan
He's
Majors.
he was in that Netflix Western cowboy movie
Hmm.
recently, and he's going to be in Creed 3 as well. So he's really having a moment. and he's fantastic in this. And it's an emotional movie. It's a little long, but like I really didn't mind it, and I felt a lot of emotions.
I should check that one out for sure because I want to see that one. That only has one showtime left in my theater, but yeah, Puss in Boots, Empire of Light. I haven't seen that one yet either, but have you seen it?
Yes, I'm actually a big fan, not a big fan of Empire of Light. I'm a decent fan. I just liked once I realized that the whole movie was just going to be hanging out with Olivia Colman at this movie theater, I settled in because I went into that completely blind. I just knew it was Sam Mendes, who is fantastic. I'll see anything he does. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the score. You got Colin Firth and Olivia Colman in the movie, so I'm there. You punched my ticket, and it was nice to happen upon the plot of a big awards movie like this. I think it'll get nominated for a lot, but it's not going to win anything because it's not actually that great. It's another one of those like this is what happened when I was a kid. Sam Mendes. It's about him, and it's also about Black Lives Matter riots and the movement and everything like that. So
Yeah, I didn't know much about it other than Olivia Colman, but the rest of that definitely sold me on the rest of it, so I'll see it, but I just don't know when.
yeah, he wrote like two different movies during the pandemic, and then he just kind of like mashed them up together. But no, it's shot beautifully. It's also that cinematographer that's the best cinematographer, Roger Deakins.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it looks gorgeous. I want to go to that movie theater. And Olivia Colman is one of my like, she's a lock. You know what I mean? Like to deliver awesome awards nomination worthy content. You know, like I don't think she should win, but like if she got a nomination at the Oscars this year, what she did at the Globes, I'm not unhappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, she's great. Like anytime she gets nominated for stuff, it's deserved just about. So
I'd recommend Devotion over that. And then Woman King. That you didn't see that? That was out in theaters for a long, long time.
yeah, unfortunately, I think it literally just left my theater, but it's
Think about that. It
streaming.
was out back in like September.
Yeah, yeah, like I'm saying, it was there like a couple days ago, I'm pretty sure. Like it just now left. So big ups to
Mm-hmm.
them. I think it still had some longevity. It might even still be playing in theaters in my town specifically. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I still want to see it because I've heard nothing but positive things about it.
Yeah, it's a very good movie, 4-star movie. The Menu is a very good 4-star movie. There's a
Mhm.
lot of good 4-star content out there.
Honestly,
You'll,
Strange World is already being announced to coming on to Disney Plus in a couple weeks, but I
that's
think that's a
sad.
really fun movie that I wish more people would be seeing. Actually, shit, not even a couple weeks. It's like the 28th, so like
The
a week from
23rd,
now.
the 23rd. It's 2
23rd,
days from now. Yeah,
Friday?
a month after it was released in theaters. Isn't that
That's
sad?
that's so shitty. At least fucking Turning Red got a Golden Globe nomination. At least there's that. Because this year
Mm-hmm.
for animation, it just feels like Disney's just disrespecting everything that's good.
They're just not putting any money into the marketing, and when that fails, they can sit there and be like, "We'll see, it didn't succeed." But no, it's not really that great, and I don't really feel bad for Disney or the movie in this scenario. So,
I feel bad
mm,
for the people who are making these products that Disney's literally just disrespecting. That's why I feel bad for.
yeah, I think it'll be different going forward with the change in leadership over there at Disney.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good time to be at the movies. Any other good movies you wanna bring up before the
Let's
buzzer here?
Because this is our Christmas episode, let's just throw
Mm-hmm.
out a couple Christmas favorites that we're gonna watch over the next few days and maybe give some people some
Oh,
ideas
that
that are
I'm
watching.
going to watch.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll start off for you. I have the collection of the Die Hard movies, and I've only seen the first one, but I've seen the first one several times. So if I rewatch the first one for Christmas, then I can continue on with the next, like, what is it, 4 movies?
5.
Yeah, so 4 after one.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The fifth one, don't bother as much. I haven't
I
seen the
have
third
to.
one. The third one is the only one I haven't watched. I've watched the second one, it's still a Christmas movie for sure. The third one, I don't know. The fourth one and the fifth one are not Christmas movies whatsoever. But if you watch the
Mhm.
second one on Christmas or the same time you watch the first one, good double feature. Kind of the same movie, but good double feature.
Honestly, I could throw it on tonight. I'm not doing
I
anything
mean,
tonight. I could probably watch it.
honestly, Die Hard 2, I think is really fun.
Hmm. What about you? What are you watching these days?
One I definitely have lined up that I haven't watched yet. Well, I'm gonna watch the Home Alone once again because I just fucking love all those movies. Like Home Alone 2 especially is like my favorite. But Jim
Mhm.
Carrey's The Grinch is one that I still need to get in there for sure because iconic performance from
That's
Jim.
true.
Love it so much. Honestly, I'll probably watch all of them. The only one I've watched so far is the old cartoon of The Grinch, but I love the new one too. Like Benedict Cumberbatch was fun.
I told Lauren I would throw on Elf because she went to the concert. You know, where they play the instruments with the movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so I'm gonna rewatch that one. That one's fantastic.
yeah.
I might throw on like Fall Asleep to Klaus. You ever see Klaus, the animated one?
I haven't. I need to watch that.
I'm gonna strongly recommend you Klaus. It's a 2D animated movie. I think, or it might be 3D animated, made to look like 2D animation. But it was a Netflix 2019. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature. I picked it to win. It didn't.
Yeah,
Lost to Toy Story 4, but it's a Christmas fixture for me. Obviously, it's a story about Santa Claus. But Jason Schwartzman plays the main character, and he's really funny in it. It comes out at a really good angle. There's good music. It's a good reinvention of the story, and it's just got a lot of heart, and it's real genuine and sweet, and it's got that Christmas family vibe you want, these days. Watch it with your niece. It's actually a really great movie for children.
yeah. I'll definitely do that because I want to watch that. I kind of forgot it
Mm.
existed, so I'll definitely be watching that one.
Actually, I
Uh,
want to watch Jack Frost. I've never seen Jack Frost. That movie looks terrifying. I want to watch it. Is it good?
the horror movie.
Jack Frost. It's the one with Michael Keaton and
Well, okay. Just so you know, there's a horror movie called Jack Frost too.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's got like the mouth, the
Yeah,
black
it
mouth.
doesn't look like that in the movie whatsoever, but
Mm-hmm.
the poster is very terrifying. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, the Michael Keaton one is also pretty terrifying just because it's so weird. But yeah, Michael Keaton dies in like this car accident and then gets turned
Mm-hmm.
into his spirit gets put
Oh,
into a
I've seen the
snowman.
trailer a million times in my childhood.
It was my favorite to watch as a kid. Like it wasn't matter if it was Christmas or what. Like I would just put in the
Mm-hmm.
tape all the time and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was
I
just because
can't wait.
I like Michael Keaton a lot. So if you're a fan of Keaton, it's a fun time. It's very cheesy and very stupid, but it's a family Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, on that note, go watch your Christmas movies, everybody. Go to the theater as well. Check out Avatar: The Way of Water. Please, God, dear God. It's fantastic. I would like to plug, actually, I have been lazy. Well, back when the hurricane hit us, it was very hard. And coming back from that was a challenge. So I stopped doing videos for a minute. But I've been doing so many lately. Weird. The Al Yankovic story is on there. Emancipation, the Will Smith movie, is on there. Violent Night, the Santa Claus movie, is on there. I'm coming up with Babylon soon. Avatar: The Way of Water is up there. Go check it out. Hard reviews. We'll put the link down in the description. But that's what
Yep.
I would like to plug. Steve?
Yep, I have some videos up too. I have the Avatar one that just came out a little bit ago. I've
Mhm.
actually been putting stuff on my TikTok page, doing little like Christmas
You have.
recommendations
They've
on
been
there.
fun.
I
Lauren loves the one where like I was drinking the fruity beverage.
Yeah, we have a TikTok for our podcast. I have a TikTok for myself. I'll put all those links down there. I've been having a ton of fun over there, so go follow all those pages. It's a fun time. And yeah, lots of movie stuff. And if you want to catch any more Christmas stuff, Santa Sleigh is always a good one. I talk about it all the time. Uh,
Mhm.
Lots of other like Silent Night, Deadly Night, another horror classic. So
Mhm.
watch all your horror stuff, watch all the theater stuff, and
Oh,
we
I
will
watched
see.
Krampus recently, so go watch
Yes.
Krampus.
Krampus is a great one to watch this time of year. It's so
Mhm.
stupid, but the effects in it are so damn cool.
Follow us on Letterboxd. Thank you guys so much for checking out Ask Today. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye,
Bye. Merry
movies,
Christmas.
yay!
Bye.